Good afternoon to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics for Tuesday, the 9th of August, 2022. Going to start things off today with an interesting tweet here from Phil Klotzbach. Western North Pacific really slow right now. The lowest ACE score, that is the accumulated cyclone energy, which is an integrated metric for accounting for tropical cyclone frequency, how many of them there are, and very importantly, their intensity and how long they last. In the western North Pacific, this is not counting the East Pac where it's been very busy, but the western North Pacific, where you get the big typhoons out there that threaten the Philippines or Taiwan, nope, not happening. Haven't had anything to speak of since about mid-April, and in fact, this is the slowest time frame that we have ever seen on record. It is the lowest ACE score, only around 5 ACE points between April 16th and yesterday, or today, whichever way you want to look at it. Very, very slow indeed, so I thought I would point that out to you. A very unusual thing to see. All right, in the Atlantic Basin, we have Invest Area 97L, 20% chance of development over the next 2 days, and it's only about 30% over the next 5 days. Conditions out in the tropical Atlantic, not as favorable as the GFS was, I guess you could say, thinking. It doesn't think, but you know what I'm saying. It was forecasting. That's a better way to put it. Not as favorable as the GFS was indicating. And so I don't think this will go on to develop much more than it already has. However, as I'll show you in a moment, it certainly does have a lot of energy and moisture with it, and we'll have to track it and see what eventually ends up happening. Meanwhile, the Eastern Pacific continues to be absolutely astounding, especially in a year where we have a strong La Nina in place. Hurricane Howard, definitely the overachiever out there, well off the coast of the Baja, at a pretty high latitude too, and it is still a hurricane. That is pretty amazing. Just goes to show you that if the upper level winds and everything lines up just right, even with marginal sea surface temperatures, and they aren't very warm up there where Howard is located, you can get a lot of activity. It's just there's other factors involved, especially in the Atlantic, dry air being a big part of that is keeping a lid on things, but not so in the East Pac. There we have Howard and yet another system trying to develop down in the area southeast of Howard, well off the coast of Mexico. All right, we can see all of this on the satellite imagery here. There's Howard, well off the Baja, again in marginal sea surface temperatures. Pretty remarkable, a nice rounded appearance to that hurricane, and then a large area of disturbed weather, loosely organized thunderstorms to the south and east of Howard. In the Western Caribbean, a pretty good flare-up of thunderstorms between Honduras and Nicaragua and Jamaica near the Caymans, maybe just south of there. Probably not going to see anything organized out of that, but a little bit more thunderstorm activity there. And in the Gulf of Mexico, the Straits of Florida, just some random thunderstorms, thunderstorm clusters, nothing really organizing, and the computer models aren't indicating much developing through this. I think there's a tropical wave embedded in there as well, and that does bring with it a little bit lower air pressure and convergence of the atmosphere where the air comes together, and you get these thunderstorms popping up. But again, nothing that looks like it's going to try to close off and become an organized area of low pressure. Sliding on out into the East Atlantic, there's the large energy packet associated with 97L. Certainly a huge area of thunderstorms and just overall broad rotation, a strong tropical wave. That ingredient is there, but there's something missing apparently. Maybe the upward motion just quite isn't enough to get those deep thunderstorms to persist. Still too much dry air, and it's just climatology as well. It's only August 9th, and I know we keep saying that, but even a couple of weeks can make a big difference. There is a reason that from August 20th on until about mid-October that the Atlantic hurricane season generally wakes up and becomes very, very busy. All right, looking at the vorticity signature, there's Howard way off there on the left side of the screen, nice and round in its appearance. And then to the south of the Cabo Verde Islands in that vicinity, lots of greens and some yellows and oranges in there indicating some concentrated area of energy or spin in the atmosphere. In other words, the vorticity signature is somewhat prevalent, but it's just not coming together to consolidate right now, and I think that will be the case over the next several days. So for at least the next week or so, the tropics will probably remain generally quiet, though tilting more and more into the favor of becoming more conducive for development as we get towards this part of the hurricane season. And again, we are about right here, and it's an interesting little dip there over history we actually go down in frequency through this period that we're in right now, so I'm not too surprised. But look, once we get past August 20th, about right here, it is a steep ramp up in climatological activity. In other words, it is supposed to get busy, and I think that's going to line up very well with other favorable factors this year, and we will have a pretty, like a track race of a hurricane season from late August till about mid-October, maybe later, and we need to all be ready for that. Just because it's quiet now doesn't mean that it'll stay that way. All right, that is it from me for today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is What's Up in the Tropics. I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow.